Here's Farhan Lalji. He's also very serious when he's reporting on the NFL, Luke. You know
Very
that.
serious, very serious.
Look at him. Look at that suit.
He looks great.
He does look good. From the field in Seattle, this Seattle defense, and Aaron Andrews was talking about it to Sam Darnold, just 236 total yards allowed for the 49ers. What stood out to you, Farhan, in the Seahawks defensive scheme in this win?
I got to be honest with you, I don't think they made a lot of adjustments from what they showed against the 49ers 2 weeks ago. And Mike Macdonald talked about the fact he was expecting Kyle Shanahan to come out with some different things and that he had some wrinkles coming back the other way. But this was the #1 ranked defense in the NFL. I was asked whether or not they could hold this team to 3 points and under 200 yards of offense again. I thought that might be a reach, but they were close to that, just 6 points and just around 235 yards. And when you look at how they stopped the run, they didn't have to attach extra defenders. They just got after Christian McCaffrey. That was on a 3rd and 1, and then it leads to this wild play where this attempted option from Juszczyk to McCaffrey, a low floor, low ceiling play, but one that kind of shows me that Shanahan didn't have faith in his guys in a critical situation. Now look at this, a double reverse screen pass. Everybody is in position. You got Thomas that gets under that with 5 linemen out in front ready to make a block, and he makes a tackle. This defense knows how to tackle. They had just 5 missed tackles for this entire game, and that's a part of it. When they get in position to make a play, they don't let that play go away. They don't leak yards like so many other defenses do. So positionally, they are so sound. Mike Macdonald has it going right now, and this is a confident group, and they can play and attack you at all 3 levels.
Farhan, you've been to a lot of Seattle games. When I was playing, you were covering the team. It seemed wildly loud in there. And I'll say this, again, it jumped through the screen. Was it as loud as the kind of old days before, let's just say, the tickets got a little corporate?
Yeah, I think it was, because when that crowd watched the opening kickoff for Rashid Shaheed coming back 95 yards and, had the return against the Rams as well. It felt like not quite Beastquake, but like Beastquake maybe 2.0. Like, it was loud, and you're right. The crowds have taken some criticism, and quite honestly, when you look at Mike Macdonald's record in his 2 years as the Seahawks head coach, this team has been much better on the road than they have been at home. Midway through this second season, he was like barely 500 at home, and certainly they turned it around the second half of the season. But yeah, the crowds are into it. Royal Brome and Occidental just outside the stadium are going to be electric. I got to get to SeaTac Airport. I don't know if I'm going to make it. I got a car waiting for me. The party is going to be going, and look, I hope you come out here next week, Luke, because it's not the same without you. But yeah, the crowds are back, and in the press box you can feel it. Sometimes I go out during commercial breaks to where there's an opening, and you can just feel it. And San Francisco travels well. The Seahawks made a point of telling their fans to not sell tickets to anybody outside the 425 or 206 area codes, and I think it worked tonight. There wasn't nearly as much red, and there was a lot of noise.
Farhan, there was a lot of talk about the Sam Darnold oblique injury leading into this game. He finishes with 124 yards. How would you assess his performance overall in this one?
Yeah, I think he got better and more comfortable. You heard him talking to Aaron Andrews there, and there were some moments early in this game. They just got the ball out on a couple of short passes, but I got a little nervous when I watched him attempt his first mid-range pass here to Jackson Smith and Jigba, and he left this well short. That was a risky play. It wasn't well executed. And then right here, he rolls out and gets sacked by Mustafa, and he lands on the ball, and when you're dealing with the oblique, you think, uh-oh, but then this throw right here on 2nd and 20 after that sack to Cooper Kupp in between cover 2 was perfectly placed. Now he's rolling to the left, puts a lot of torque on that oblique, and absolutely threads the needle to JSN for that touchdown. And at that point, you knew he was just going to be fine. But ultimately, look, only 17 passes required. The Seahawks got out to a lead. They had very much a 3-phase victory, so a lot of pressure wasn't on Sam Darnold. But if he can do that when he's required and expected to throw 25 or 30 passes next week, I think he's going to be just fine.
Farhan, the Hawks are back in the NFC Championship for the first time since 2014. They played in the toughest division in football this year. They got the 1 seed. Their head coach is in his 2nd year here. I got to ask you about the GM John Schneider. How much credit do you give John Schneider in this whole thing?
Luke, you got to give them a tremendous amount of credit. And when you go back to those early teams that were built through the draft, 2010 through 2012 were some elite drafts. In that 2012 year, they picked up Bobby Wagner and Russell Wilson. I'm probably not giving enough credit to 2013 when they added some tight end from LaSalle.
I was waiting for that.
University named Luke Wilson. I know. I had to bring it up. But then there was about a 10-year stretch there where it was a bit of a ghost town from the draft. But he's been very good in the draft the last 3 years, and now he added some key free agents. You saw DeMarcus Lawrence there, 33 years old. They needed a finishing piece of the pass rush. They acquire him. Then right here, Rashid Shaheed. We talked about this in the Rams game as well. They needed a play. This guy came in and has really sparked their special teams. They had nothing going in the return game. Here's Shaheed again on the reverse. Again, back-to-back, both of those plays, a kick return touchdown and a reverse in that key Rams game that put him in position to do this, were so important. You saw Kupp with the touchdown, and here again with the reception. He led the team with 5 catches, and as Jackson Smith and Jigba's been getting double-teamed so much more, Kupp has certainly stepped up. So when you look at how this team is built, it's still primarily been built through the draft. 4 of their 5 starting offensive linemen, which is much improved this year, came from the draft. Walker, Smith, and Jigba came from the draft. Defensively, most of their secondary has come from the draft, but when they've needed some key pieces prior to this year, he's gone out and done it. So you've got to give him a ton of credit, because the last 3 years, and he had to make that tough decision to move on from Pete Carroll, and making the Mike Macdonald hire. It's all been very, very well done, and he's showing that he can do this. Before, you never really knew who built it. Was it Pete? Was it John Schneider? This is Schneider's team.
He's got his fingerprints all over it. Farhan, terrific work as always. Get in that car. Get to SeaTac, okay? We'll see it from the national championship game.
See you, boys.
There he is. Farhan Lalji, the best. Here we go, buddy. Which game are you more excited about, and tell me why it's the Rams and Bears?
Yeah, believe it or not, I got the Rams-Bears being a bit of a blowout. So for me, it's the Texans-Patriot, because it's going to be one of those football games,
Yeah.
2 just great defenses, very good coaches. Who's going to be the guy who makes the one play or steals the one possession and wins this thing 17-13? Who's going to do it?
Who will do it indeed? Don't forget, both of these games can be seen right here on TSN, and following Rams and Bears, you can see our show, SportsCenter with Jay Onrait, brought to you by Harvey's.